Well, hello, this is a petty politic here, and we come to you with the information regarding the military strike that we had on the 2nd, about 4 days ago, right? Uh, on September 2nd, what was this about? He ordered a U.S. military strike on a vessel in the South Caribbean, and 11 people died. 11 people died. He tried to say that they were a part of the Trade de Aragua gang, designated as a terrorist organization in the United States government. So, Trump organization decided that it was justified in striking this vessel, whom they say was transporting narcotics from Venezuela, and they have no proof. According to the drunk, Hegseth, we had absolute and complete authority in order to do this. So they're justifying him pulling the trigger on shooting a boat out of the water and ending the lives of 11 people. So how do you know that they were drug traffickers? Okay. How do you know that? Nobody knows that. And we think, and I think, it violated the U.S. and international laws because it didn't have congressional authority. There was a threat to the United States. And they were not trying to arrest anybody or get any cargo off the ship or anything like that. They just decided that they were going to murk everybody that was on board. Murk everybody that was on board. And we already got problems with our allies. We got problems with Venezuela now. Wait a minute. When the hell people start using lethal force and we don't have any evidence? That's why I say this man needs to be impeached. I don't care what nobody says. That man needs to be impeached. He thinks he's within his congressional powers to order a military strike on a vessel in the Caribbean. Mm-mm. We're not going to be able to do this right here. We are not going to be able to allow the president to extend his powers this far. Okay. We do not have the options to start murking folks just because we think that they violated something. We think they violated the Constitution. This is terrible. See, I say he should be removed from office. Why? They have been beating the drum about these gang members, terrorist organizations within the country and outside of the country. They've been hitting that drum beat for a while. Okay? And he's trying to use that same excuse, because I've seen that Stephen Miller. He's trying to make the same excuse for invading cities in the United States. Okay, there's terrorist organizations. There might be some Tran de Agua. There might be some of those people. There might be some other gang members. So they're trying to make that drum beat within the country. But this is outside the country, right? So they've been setting it up all this time. But way back when he transferred that one prisoner, that one guy who just got back, who was tortured over there at that Venezuelan prison. They've been trying to sell that to the American public for the longest time. See, we weren't giving a damn about what was happening over in Venezuela in that prison that boy never should have went to. But now he's trying to bring the same tactics over here to the neighborhoods and people's cities. That's why I say it's just a matter of time before we see military people standing outside our doors at the end of our street and all that kind of garbage, right? And you guys are just walking right into the trap. Well, you idiots are walking right into the trap. I ain't walking in the trap. I know it's a trap. Let me show you the video. Let's just watch the video. Hold on. Watch this. This video is, I guess, just been released or whatever. But watch.
Strike. Breaking news. Brand new video you're looking at the moment. The President Trump said the U.S. military struck a suspected drug boat tied to the cartel Tren de Aragua. Trump said 11 people, drug traffickers, he says, were killed in this strike in international waters.
Is the kind of president that we have, who would blatantly and deliberately and illegally eliminate 11 people No trial, no due process, no nothing. Don't know whether there's drugs on board, don't know whether there's kids on board, don't know nothing. He just accuses them of being drug traffickers and decides he's going to strike the boat, and then they have pictures of it. Right now, at this instant, he should be removed from office right now and be tried as a criminal. I think this is why they're doing it. They're doing it so they can shake public opinion. So his agenda can go forward without any kind of objections. If you don't object to me killing or breaking off 11 Venezuelans, then you won't worry about me breaking off other people. Nobody said anything about allowing him to use the military to commit deadly acts at sea. It might be a violation of international law. That image of that boat exploding does not prove who was on board, doesn't prove whether there were drugs present. They don't have any hard evidence that says that these were gang members. They're just trying to scramble now after the fact in order to justify what they did. They want us as the American public to start standing behind them when they do unjust acts, illegal acts. And because we don't have any power, the Democrats don't have any power, we can't really say anything. And we know the Republicans won't say anything. He seems to think he has a mandate for being strong on crime. No, this is not how we want someone to be strong on crime. This ideology is fueled by some kind of dangerous war against whoever. America, other people, this is the dangerous route that we're going down. I don't like it. Just because you think doesn't mean you get to act. Doesn't mean you get to bomb or kill people at random. You don't get to do that. You don't commit these kind of atrocities just because you want to. We believe, and I believe it might be a violation of international law. If it is, then he needs to be removed and he needs to be impeached. No, we're not trying to project strength. Something is wrong if you think that we have not had strength or we have not been projecting strength across the world. Something is wrong with you if you think we have not been doing that. We can't allow this. People are not saying anything and they're allowing this to happen. The whole point is they want to have a war on crime. Yes, you can have a war on crime, but you don't go around committing murder. He wants to have a war against the narco-terrorist organizations. Okay, fine and dandy. But you have to do it within the law. You got to do it within the law. You just can't be doing anything randomly. But most of us don't like this weird shit. Most of us do not like blowing foreign people out of the water and then have potential enemies somewhere else because we did it. And we did it unlawfully. We're not going to be seen as people who are fighting terrorist organizations. That's not how people are looking at us. Looking at us like we're crazy that we're allowing our president to do this or drag us into this kind of nonsense every day. First of all, he is not allowed to take us into war without congressional authority. He's just not. We did the strike in Iran. That was one strike. It was calculated. Okay, maybe he could get away with that. Apparently he did. But this is another thing altogether. We have representatives, and those representatives need to speak up and say, you cannot be doing this thing unilaterally without letting us know what you're doing. But the Trump administration seems to think they got a mandate. Now, the reason why I say that is a president cannot decide to go to war to a country against another country unless they have congressional authority. To go against it means, I don't know what it's called, an act of treason. I don't know what it's called. Okay? But I do know somewhere in the Constitution it says you can't do it. Yes, in the Constitution it says you can't start no war unless Congress told you to, unless Congress said you could. Yet and still, This is not an act of war. Let me back up. This is not an act of war. This is something that y'all just randomly decided you was gonna do. This is not considered act of war. We're not at war with Venezuela. You don't get to just do something and call it an act of war, which is what they're trying to do. Call it an act of war. That's not how that works. And if anyone had a backbone, he would be out of there. Fuck out of here. But since we have Republicans in Congress who won't do anything to stop this president, and I expect you people to come next year, November 2026, I expect you to be there to get rid of this president. We don't have any recourse. We don't have any recourse unless they decide that they're going to hold their man accountable. Nobody wants to hold their man accountable. Now, what they're saying is, it's an immediate defense of our country. That we're in immediate danger. So therefore, they have the right to do this. This is what they're trying to pull. They're trying to pull imminent danger. There you go. They're trying to say this is imminent danger to our country. So therefore, they had the right to do it. But I think you violated a couple of laws. I think you violated some of these things. Congress has to approve of this particular thing. They have to approve of acts of war and immediate, imminent threat to our country. These are the things that can occur for us to commit an act of war. They're trying to make it fly like it was an act of war. They're trying to, or it's immediate danger to the United States. That's what they're trying to do. Are we going to allow it to fly? That's the question. Are you going to allow it to fly just like that? Now, according to legal experts, Donald Trump overstepped his authority, his legal authority, okay? And it posed no direct threat to the United States. He said he was operating within his constitutional powers as commander-in-chief when he ordered the U.S. military to destroy a vessel that came out of the Caribbean. But is disputed by legal experts and lawmakers who said he exceeded his authority. So since you think he exceeded his legal authority, what is somebody going to do about it? Is anybody going to do anything about it? Are we just going to allow him to do whatever he wants to do? Are we just going to allow this? Now I got this next one. That says, Hegseth says he has absolute authority to kill suspected drug dealers. Yeah, but that has nothing to do with our immediate danger or an immediate threat to the American people. This is the defense of the American people, according to Hegseth. That's not how that works. He said we have absolute authority to conduct this act. First of all, just the defense of the American people alone. 100,000 Americans were killed each year under the previous administration because of an open border and open drug flow policy. Y'all just gonna keep beating that drum about open border. Nobody wanted open borders. Nobody had open borders. He said, I'd say, and this is the defense secretary. He said, I'd say we smoked a drug boat. And there's 11 drug dealers at the bottom of the ocean. Who says that? Okay? Who says that? We knew exactly who was on the boat. We knew exactly what they were doing. We knew exactly who they represented. And that was Tren de Agua. Trying to poison our country with illicit drugs. It doesn't matter whether they were trying to do that or not. You all didn't have legal authority to do it. And yet it was done. What is anybody going to do about it? Let's see. I know the Venezuelan government is salty. They deny these claims. They deny that there was drug dealers on the boat. Or they denied that there was drug dealers getting drugs and taking them across the water. The whole point is we don't need no fight with Latin America. We just don't. Congress is asking for some kind of investigation. Is there some kind of legal justification for the strike? They're trying to get some investigations going, okay? Although they're calling for it, the Republicans may tell them, if they're Democrats, we don't want to do it, ain't no big deal, blah, blah, blah. So there ain't been no legal action whatsoever initiated against President Trump or anybody else that's involved with this. I have no idea whether it's legal or not. Hopefully somebody challenges this. Hopefully someone says, hey, we need to have some hearings to find out whether you're legally responsible for doing this, and put it on the tail end of an impeachment. That's all you got to do. I am sick and tired of this president getting away with the stuff that he's getting away with and nobody's saying anything. We need to start tightening up our president. Immigration, rioting, military movements in the city. No, we are done just sitting back and taking it. You all need to stand up and say something. In Congress, Democrats, Republicans alike. What if there would have been children on board? We don't even know if there was children on board. We don't know who was on board. It's a different story if y'all went to the boat and y'all arrested the people on the boat and then you found drugs and everything else. But you all didn't do that. You just decided to take measures into your own hands and eliminate the people. We can't have a president just killing people willy-nilly out here because you think they might have drugs on board. There might be a good explanation, and there might have been drugs on board. I'm not saying it isn't. What I am saying is we can't allow you to just do it without knowing for sure. We can't continue to let you do things just because you say it. Just because you say it don't mean it's true. And we need to start holding you accountable. We need to start holding him accountable for the shit that he does. And we don't have no proof that he's telling the truth. That's why I say you need to be the fuck out of here. Because we can't trust you to do the right thing. We can't trust him to do the right thing. You just killing anybody. You can declare my neighborhood a war zone that got terrorist organizations in it. And then you can come all in my neighborhood and I wouldn't be able to stop you. We can't allow that to continue. Somebody needs to stop him.